Hey kings and queens, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my funniest whoopings growing up.
Another banger. Make a call, make a bomb, 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 make a call, make a key, party, bomb, 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 your body, kakara, make a bomb, 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 on a make it.
Welcome back to another video. If you guys like my channel and like my videos, be sure to like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and hit all, and share it to your friends and family. I don't know about y'all, but I was a bad kid growing up. And being a bad kid means I got a lot of whoopings. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, for instance, I'm pretty sure when I was in kindergarten to first grade, in a combined total, I probably got on the color green 7 times.
Damn!
Combined with kindergarten and first grade. And if you guys don't know what green means, it's like the best color in the thing. It's like green, yellow, then red. Red means you're doing bad. Yellow means you're not quite there, but you're not doing bad. And then green means you're good. I was literally always on red. Now, in first and second grade, probably all the way to third grade, I lived with my grandparents. My grandparents is where all my funny whoopings take place because they don't play. With that being said, let's get into my top 3 funniest butt whoopings. Number 3. So, in Mississippi, the way that my family is set up, we lived in a small town. Well, they live in a small town right now. I used to live there. But we live in a small town called Prairie. And in Prairie, everybody knows everybody. Meaning my family in Mississippi is spread out. These are my family members on my dad's side. So, with that being said, when I went to school, my uncle drove me to school. Meaning he drove the school bus. Meaning, like, I'm on the school bus. I probably have like 2 cousins on the bus. And my uncle's driving everybody to school. On the school bus. And then at the school, my great auntie, I think she was like a dean in high school. And the high school was next to the elementary school. So anytime we got in trouble, she knew because they knew that I was one of her relatives. So they went to go tell her, and she told my grandparents before I even got home. In probably second grade, we were in PE class, and we had just got pedometers. So these little pedometers are like white squares that counts your steps. And at the time, I ain't never seen nothing like it, and I wanted to get more than one. Why? No clue. So I took like 5 of them, and it wasn't just me. It was like a whole bunch of students who just decided to take a whole bunch of pedometers. For what? I don't know. Kids do random things. So I took them off, right? So we thinking we're slick, and we go on to our next class. Probably halfway into that class, it was math class. The PE teacher shows up. They're looking for the pedometers. Yada, yada, yada. They're bringing kids out, talking to them, and seeing who got the pedometers. And at this time, I wasn't a really known kid in school. I wasn't popular at all. And then kids were kind of like getting rowdy about it. And you know how kids act up. And nobody really knew me. So I don't know what went through my mind, but I thought today's going to be the day I act up. Today's going to be the day I act the fool. So it was like a joke with our math teacher that he can't hear, and he really couldn't hear, but he wasn't, deaf. But most of the time he always say, huh, or he can't hear what you're talking about. So my math teacher pulls me up, and he goes to talk to me to the side, and he's like, do you have a pedometer? Do you have more than one pedometer? Did you take the pedometers out? Because at the end of the day, we weren't supposed to leave with any pedometers, and I left with 5. These pedometers had our names on the back, and we was just supposed to leave them in the gym. I took all 5. So he was just like, do you have any? And I was just like, no. And he kept asking me, and I decided to get loud so everybody in the classroom could hear me. And I was like, Can you hear me? Can you hear out your ears? I don't have any pedometers. So everybody in the class was laughing, kikiing. And I guess after that, I think I had like a little slick attitude with him for the rest of the day. And then he said he was going to contact a parent or guardian for me. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. So then I'm going throughout the rest of the day thinking everything is fine. So I get ready to go on my bus home, which is my uncle. When I'm walking, every time I walk to my bus, my auntie meets me like halfway there and she talks to us for a little bit and then she gives us a piece of candy. So she meets me there. When I mean us, it was just me. Me and my brother used to live together in Mississippi, but at this time he wasn't there. So she meets me at my bus, right? She gives me a piece of candy, asks me how my day was, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I know what you did in your math class. I already told your grandparents. You're in trouble." And I was just like, she do this all the time. She butter you up, ask you how your day is, give you a couple of hugs, and then be like, yeah, you're in trouble. I already told your grandparents. Bye. She did that every single time I was in trouble. Any single time my brother was in trouble. Every single time. And by the way, the school that I went to at the time, if you guys, y'all probably people watching this don't remember or they didn't even have to deal with this in school. But Mississippi is one of them old states who still had them crazy laws around. So when I was in school, not only did I get whipping from my granddad and my grandma never whooped me, but we're gonna get into that. From my granddad, I got a whooping at the school. My principal, if y'all know what paddling is, that's what I got. I used to get paddled all the time and then get home and get a whooping. Double homicide. Like, dang. So I'm getting on the bus and we get home and I'm just walking my merry way down to my grandparents' drive. And my grandparents' drive is a driveway. It's a long driveway. It's not one of them when you get to your bus stop, you kind of already there at your house. My grandparents' house, it's not like you turn corners or anything. It's just a really long driveway. So I'm trying to take my time to get into the house. I get in the house. I got towed up. Mind you, my granddad is probably in his late 50s. That man knows how to whoop people. He towed my butt up. And you know what I got after that? McDonald's. I'm sorry if y'all can hear the grass. People are cutting grass this morning. But every time, this is like something my granddad used to do for me when I was a kid. Every day he would pick me up after. Oh well, not every day he would pick me up, but every day when I get home from school, either he'll pick me up or I get home from the bus and he'll have McDonald's there, or he'll take me to McDonald's. And he asks me what color I'm on. If I say red, I get a whooping. If I'm on green, I probably get something extra. But all the time I had McDonald's. So yeah, that's number 3. My second funniest butt whooping. So if you guys have religious parents, grandparents, then you guys know when you get to church, you do not act a fool in church. And that's what I did. Acted a fool in church. I don't know what came over me. So I always went to church and I ain't never had no problems in church. I was usually good all the time. All the time. And I was good after this butt whooping too. So when I went we were going to church with my grandma and I was getting older and I used to be in Sunday school because, little kids go to Sunday school because the exact reason why I got a butt whooping, because most of the time kids won't pay attention to, you know, the adults, the adult version of church, because the pastor is talking and they get tired, they get sleepy, they get bored. So in Sunday school, you're either coloring, you're singing, you're learning, you're doing choir, you're dancing, you're praise dancing, you're doing something that'll keep you entertained while the adults learn the word of God in the adult section of the church. So being me. I'm thinking, I'm too old for Sunday school. I want to go to adult church, and the reason why I wanted to go to adult church is because I heard about the wine and bread. That's the reason why I want to go to church, and they didn't even do it that day. So I'm like, Grandma, I don't want to sit in Sunday school. I want to sit with you today. And she was just like, you sure? It's gonna be boring, and you're probably gonna not like it. I was just like, I want to go. I want to do it. She was just like, okay. So I'm sitting with my grandma in church. Cool. Sitting in there, good 15 minutes. I'm like, this is nice. This is nice. And then an hour passed by and I'm just like, I'm bored. I need something to do. So I'm slouching in the seat, doing all this and kicking my feet around. My grandma's just like, get it together. So she over here, she popped me on my leg one time and she's like, get it together. And I'm just like, I got attitude. I'm slouching still. I'm kicking. I laid on the floor under my grandma's feet and kicked my feet up and was kicking it up. And I was just acting a fool the whole entire service. I was acting a fool. It was probably like a 2 to 3 hour service. I was acting a fool the whole entire time. And then like, I don't know, probably like 50 minutes after me acting a fool, I fell asleep for the rest of the church. And then my grandma woke me up and it was time for us to go home. So we go home and I'm talking to my granddad. My grandma told my granddad I was acting up in church. And he was just like, why was you acting up in church? I was just like, I don't know, granddad. I was kind of bored. He was like, where are you? So my grandma come behind me. She with a belt. Mind you, my grandma never once whooped me ever. This is the only time she ever whooped me. She whooping my legs. It ain't hurt. It was nothing compared to my granddad's whoop. So she was hitting my legs and she was hitting my butt. I think she hit me one good time and that hurt. But like, she was hitting my legs. I was just like, I'm looking back. I'm like,
what?
why are you whooping me, Grandma? You'll never do this. So it ain't really hurt. It ain't do nothing to me, but I just felt it hurt my pride because my grandma ain't never whooped me. So I could tell she was disappointed in me. So I ain't never act up in church after that ever. And she ain't never whooped me after that ever. Cause my grandma not a whooping person. So when she whooped me, I was just like, what is this, Grandma? What's this? Why are you playing these games with me? You should have just hand Granddad the belt. Matter of fact, don't hand Granddad the belt. I'll take this. But yeah, I think it's funny because my grandma was trying to whoop me, but it didn't work out the way that I think she thought it was gonna work out. But yeah, my number one funniest whooping. Okay, so at the time, we at my granddad's house, my grandma and grandpa's house. And my grandma and grandpa are probably inside doing something. My grandma probably cooking, my granddad's probably watching TV or just watching the news or something. So I'm outside, I'm playing outside, and I'm playing with my grandpa's cane. Mind you, I'm not supposed to play with my grandpa's cane at all. I have a whole bunch of toys at my grandparents' house, and I don't know what possessed me. I guess I was just a bored child. So I'm playing with my granddad's cane, and I'm walking around like an old person, and then I start slamming the cane on the ground. I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I started slamming it on the ground. It wasn't too hard, but one time I hit it too hard on the ground, snapped in half. And I knew if I went inside and told my grandpa, I broke his cane, I was gonna get a butt whooping right there. And I was just like, not doing it. It's not gonna happen. So I throw it under the cars on my grandpa's porch. My grandpa has 2 cars on his porch. They don't ever get drove anywhere. He just leaves them up there. So I threw it under the car. Now, maybe a couple of days later, my grandpa decides to pull that same car out that I threw the cane out, and he discovers the canes. And that day he was questioning me about the canes. He was just like, "Did you break my cane?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Don't lie to me because you're going to get in trouble." And I was like, "No." So he just let it go. Then my cousin Debbie and my Aunt Goody came out, and my cousin Jackie. Everybody was there. I don't know why everybody was there that day, but yeah, like I said, everybody lives near each other. Everybody lives near each other where we lived at in Mississippi, where they live at now in Mississippi. So everybody lives near each other, so it's not too far away. So they all came over. I guess they were just talking about something grown. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. And then they get to the conversation about the cane. And my cousin Debbie's like, "You need to tell your grandpa if you broke the cane, because you're going to get in bigger trouble than you already are now if you're lying." And I'm like, "I didn't break it. I didn't break it." And then you know how adults are. They already know if you broke it or not. They know if you're lying. So they already knew I was lying. So my cousin Debbie was like, "You need to tell us. You need to tell us." And then I think my cousin Debbie and my grandpa came up with a plan. And basically, she was just like, your grandparents have cameras in the back so they can see you. They have cameras all around the house so they can see who broke the cane. So we will rewind the cameras to see. And if we rewind to see you, then you're going to be in bigger trouble than you are now. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, they got cameras. Da, da, da. Mind you, we're in the country. I got bamboozled by my grandparents. I was young, and I was young and dumb. I didn't think that, I don't know, I didn't think things through. My grandparents don't know how to use an iPhone. They don't know how to install cameras. They don't know nothing about no cameras. They can't afford cameras. And my cousin Debbie, nobody knows how to install cameras into the house. So at the time, I'm thinking that I'm finna get in trouble. They finna see me on these cameras. But growing up older as I am now, I'm like, you dummy. They got you. They tricked you. They tricked you because you know how parents be. They be like, we got cameras in this house, so we know who lying. We're gonna go back and see it. Parents like to use that all the time to get you, to trick you into telling them if you did it or not. Y'all not slick no more. Because I done found you tricks. So anyway, my grandparent told me, my granddad, he was just like, "Yeah, we got cameras. I'm gonna go." And he started to get up to go check the cameras. And I was just like, okay, I did it. And then everybody's just like, "Well, thank you for telling us the truth." My cousin Debbie and my Aunt Goody left. And it was wraps from there. I got toe up. And my cousin Debbie lied. Now that I'm thinking about it, cousin Debbie, you said if I told the truth, it was going to be bad. I remember that butt whooping, and it was a bad butt whooping. We got beef, cousin Debbie. We got beef. I don't know. I got toe up. And then I got, on top of that, I got grounded. I couldn't do a lot. I don't think I was able to get popsicles no more. I was grounded. I got in trouble. But yeah, I think that is probably one of the, not the worst whoopings I done got, because I done had way worse whoopings from my mother. But for my grandparents, that one right there, that was one of them, the sniffling ones, where you walk around sniffling. And my grandma being my grandma is not confrontational, and she don't ever whoop nobody. So at the time, she was just looking at me. She was just like, I don't know why you ain't tell him the truth. And I'm just like, not helping, Grandma. You're not. But yeah, those are my top 3 funniest butt whoopings. You guys let me know what's your funniest butt whooping. Shout out to my best friend because my best friend told me to do this type of video. He suggested this video for you guys. So shout out to my best friend. Thank you, best friend. But if you guys like this video, like, subscribe, share it to your friends and family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your other boyfriend, your other girlfriend, your spouse, your lover. Share it to everybody if you want to. But yeah, I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.